Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Landry, have you ever prosecuted a case?
Sir?
Have you ever prosecuted a case?
A criminal case?
Yes.
Not until being Attorney General.
Does your office prosecute cases?
We do.
Mr. Horowitz, you ever prosecute a case?
I did.
Ms. Gupta, have you ever prosecuted a case?
My office prosecutes cases, yes.
Okay. And Mr. Landry, who is your client?
The state of Louisiana?
The people of the state of Louisiana?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Mr. Horowitz, when you prosecuted cases, who was your client?
People of the United States.
And Ms. Gupta, when you prosecuted cases, who was your client?
People of the United States.
Okay. In your opening, Ms. Gupta, you say police officers on, this is the top of page 4 in your written submission, police officers cannot solve crimes and therefore cannot help victims prosecute criminals or help federal law enforcement deport violent criminals if victims and witnesses feel afraid to share information. Mr. Landry, why would a victim or witness feel afraid to share information?
Only because they would be afraid of the suspect.
Oh, okay. Well, how about if they are in this country illegally and they share information and they're asked about their status in this country? Would they feel afraid to share information perhaps for that reason? They could be deported or held if they were in the country illegally when they reported a case?
I believe if a person is victimized, they would report it regardless of that. But we've seen, look, as a former law enforcement officer, I've seen many communities, especially when you get into the poorer communities, that they're suspect of law enforcement altogether, regardless of their immigration status.
Okay, Mr. Horowitz, could someone feel afraid to report a crime because they, in fact, are committing a crime themselves?
It's been a while since I prosecuted a case, but you could certainly see that being a concern of the
Okay, well, let's go further because it's been a while since I prosecuted a case also. So let's dig deep into the recess of our memory here. Mr. Horowitz, let me ask you something. Is it allowable part of cross-examination to ask a victim or witness a question that would determine their motive for testifying or reporting a crime?
It is, and obviously depends on the judge's ruling as to the scope of it.
Okay, but your interpretation of laws of the rules of evidence in a broad sense, that would be allowed to question about motive. How about veracity?
That would also be allowed, again, to the extent and scope that the judge allowed it.
Okay, and so if somebody were to report a crime and yet they had committed a crime or they had a motive, for example, a U visa, if they wanted to stay in the country, you understand what U visas are. It allows a prosecutor to apply to immigration authorities to allow someone to stay in this country if they are a victim or witness of a crime. It would be fair to inquire of that person whether they had committed a crime themselves by being in the country illegally in order to get a full picture about the prosecutorial merits of a case, would it not?
Presumably, but again, I think it would be, depending on the facts and circumstances, up to the judge ultimately.
Okay. So, Mr. Landry, let me ask you something. When the Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, decides that they are going to protect one group of individuals who are committing crimes in this country and make sure that we are not prosecuting another group of individuals, are they in fact choosing which type of criminal they want prosecuted in Louisiana, in New Orleans?
That's correct. That's exactly. We're choosing between what laws we'll follow and what laws we'll allow to be broken.
And why would someone do that politically? What is the political advantage of doing something like that?
You would have to ask them. I wouldn't engage in that type of activity.
No, you wouldn't, because it's unethical, isn't it?
That's correct.
If you believe that you are, in fact, not enforcing the laws, or if you enter into a consent decree and you are not representing your client, the people of the United States, the people who are being victimized, that would be unethical conduct, would it not?
It would be.
Mr. Horowitz, do you agree with that?
Depending on the facts and circumstances, yes.
Okay. I yield back.